Okay. 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 안녕하세요, 여러분. 저는 렉스입니다. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you subscribed a year ago, you're probably wondering, has it been like a year since she made a video? Yeah, so basically, I started this channel a year ago to essentially chronicle my journey to Korea. The last video I made had something to do, I believe, with my epic placement where I said that I was placed in Wonju. So after that, I intended to make a video once I got to Korea, once I'd been settled in. But essentially, my first year in Korea was an interesting one. So once I got to Korea, I started my job in Wonju. However, the school that I had been placed at, as well as the area that I had been placed at, was on the outskirts of the city. And by outskirts, I mean outskirts. It took about an hour on the city bus to get into like the city center. And so I was really isolated. On top of that, in the typical epic situation, you are usually given 1 to 2 schools that you work at. I was given 5. And so upon, getting to Korea, I was so overwhelmed by 1, moving, 2, the work that I was given, and 3, trying to overcome living in a remote area. So my first half of my year in Korea was rather difficult. I was stressed, I was lonely, I was tired, and so I wasn't quite in the position to make a video. And every time I did try to make a video, I was pretty much overwhelmed by how negative the video seemed. I felt like I was always complaining about my life here, the city I'd been placed in, the work, my co-teachers, and so I didn't want my channel to become a place where I just bagged on this program, because at the end of the day, I was still falling in love with Korea, and so I didn't want people to think, wow, she came to Korea and she's miserable now, because that isn't the case. Yes, work was difficult. Monday through Friday, it was quite hard, but at the end of the day, I still was able to fall in love with Korea. And so I ended up just getting caught up in my year as things like adjusted and changed. Of course, Corona, struck as soon as 2020 began, which completely changed my first year. I went from, commuting every day to these 5 schools, to having my schools readjusted, to not working for the whole first month of the second semester, to preparing for online classes, to starting online classes, to finally getting to meet my students just for my contract to end and then transfer. And so my first year in Korea is complete. I have renewed with my city in that I am still living in Wonju, but I have moved to another school that is actually within the city this time, and I am going to be living here for another year. And so I thought I would just give an update as to where my life is heading and about the direction I would like to take this channel. Initially, when I started this channel, I decided I wanted to chronicle my journey to Korea. Obviously, I've gotten to Korea, and obviously I'm still here. And so what I realized, one, is that I do not want to be a teacher. Teaching was the path that got me here, and I'm so grateful for the chance to do it. And I have gotten to feel, attached to the role and as a teacher and to my students. But at the end of the day, I did not get my degree in education, and I did not ever have a goal to become a teacher. And because of that, I decided that 1, my ultimate goal was to come here, which I've done. But 2, I want to find my passion work. Initially, I talked about wanting to work with higher education students in an international capacity in the States, but what I've come to realize is that I love living here. I love being here. I've made many big decisions because of that. And so I wanted to pursue my life here in Korea full on. And so as a result, I will be spending this next year working towards getting my F visa. And so what that means is basically I am currently working on an E2 visa, which allows me to work in Korea as English teacher only. And so if I am to get my F2 visa, that would be my long-term residence visa, which means that I am able to basically work in any capacity in Korea. It's not as temperamental. My residency here will not be dependent on my job, because right now, if I were to be fired tomorrow, my visa would be canceled. And so I want to live in Korea with free reign and the ability to, explore any career path and any opportunity that I'm able to do. And so I will spend this next year doing just that. And so the first and basically the only step I really need to take is to begin the KIIP program. The KIIP program stands for the Korean Integration and Immigration Program. It is a course that is provided by the Korean government that essentially educates you on the Korean language as well as culture and operation of Korea. There are 5 levels to this program, and there's a pre-test you can take where you can essentially test your way into the program, and based off your Korean education or Korean language education proficiency as well as your knowledge of Korean culture, you can start at either level 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes to 5. Each level is 100 hours except for level 5, which is only 50. And so taking the pre-test, if you have any knowledge of the Korean language, is a bit of a way to save time. And so I will be hopefully taking the pre-test for this course in the next couple of months. Unfortunately, due to Corona, the testing has become limited and it is a bit harder to even take the test, but worry not, I am not unmotivated, I am not deterred. I will continue to seek this out, because essentially if I finish the KIIP program, I will have enough points to get my F2 visa. And what I mean by points is that the F2 visa is different in that it's a points-based system. So depending on your age, your level of education, where you went to school, whether you've done community service in Korea, etc., there is given points for each, accomplishment. And so currently, thanks to my age, my 2 degrees that I have, my income currently as a teacher, and if I am to finish the KIIP program, I will have enough points to get my F2 visa. And so hopefully, depending on how far I place based off my Korean proficiency in this test, hopefully I can get that KIIP complete within the next year. And so with that, I would like to take this channel in a different direction. It was mostly focused on teaching and my journey here, and so now that I'm here, I am established, I am pretty comfortable living in Korea. I'd like to take a wider focus with it. I'd like to explore, different parts of Korean life, that being an immigrant, what it's like being an immigrant in Korea. Look at questions that people may have about coming to or living in Korea, exploring language learning and how you can even, approach that, as well as anything else that people might find interesting. I have spent a lot of time thinking about whether I wanted to continue this channel, and I think thanks to a couple of YouTubers that I've seen on the internet, including a big influence that I had in this was in particular Megan Bowen. She is a YouTuber that has been living in Korea, I think, for the past 7 or 8 years. She came here when she was about 22. She started as an English teacher, realized she had other passions that she wanted to pursue, such as starting her own entertainment company and becoming a YouTuber full time. And so she basically did everything she needed to do just that. And now she's here and she's living a happy life and a successful life as a social media influencer / YouTuber here in Korea. And I just it's not that I want to do exactly that, but it's that I saw that she basically saw everything she wanted and she did it. She wanted to become a YouTuber. She started her own company and did so. She wanted to, you know, get into bodybuilding. And so she did that, and she's won competitions. And so I saw somebody like her and these other foreigners in Korea, and how they really just like took opportunity by the hand and went with it. And so that's essentially what I would like to do. I don't want to give this channel any particular set of, you know, direction. I don't want to call it a teaching channel. I don't want to call it a language channel. I just want it to be about life in Korea as a foreigner and everything that that can entail. And so with that begins the beginning of my rebranding. And so if you have wondered where I've been for those few of you who even subscribe to this channel, or if you're just now finding it, I hope that this channel can be a resource to you and the questions that you have about life in Korea as a foreigner. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any ideas for videos, I'd be happy to answer them to the best of my abilities. And if there's things you want me to find out, I can do that too. So if you've watched this video until this point, thank you. If you've already subscribed to my channel and you're coming back for this update, thank you for even coming back to this channel. I hope that this YouTube page can become a good resource for many of you who are, you know, inquiring or currently living here. And honestly, I just really want to get into exploring all of my possibilities. And so I look forward to my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.